There's just 1 minute to showtime.
The engines are on.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
When they wrote up the systems and the rule set that we use, did working people get to write a line? What class of men on pen and paper jotted down their clues? With capital, the heart of their design. When 90 million want a thing, but some shareholders say no. Which class of people get to have their way? The people read the fine print, say that this thing has got to go, and we'll start writing a new contract here today. Don't you know that hundreds will work and one man keeps the money? They don't think they gotta tell us why. When they say the new social contract, all the bosses will be gobsmacked and everyone will want a sign. Oh, yeah, everyone will want a sign.
Hello, cousins. Jared's here with us. He's just having some internet. There we go.
I
Okay.
might be here now. Let's see.
As per you, yeah. It's always a surprise every week if something's gonna work or not. So hopefully everybody can cross their fingers for us. Well, yeah, he's having some internet issues. Unsurprising. It's always something with our shows. And right when I was signing on, I'm looking at they on our broadcast software. They've changed updated and it's like, where is everything? So I had to try and figure out what was going on from my end as well. And he's working on things from his end. So he's going to be here. He's just kind of sorting things out as per usual with our show. So thank you for being here with us. Welcome. We appreciate you, of course. And well, I'm trying to vamp here a little bit because I know he missed last week. So he, pretty big week to miss. So, he definitely has some things to say that he wants to catch up on. So I'm gonna, since you had me all last week to yourselves, I'm gonna let him lead the convo here. Are we good? Are you good?
I may or may not be good.
maybe. We'll find out
see
together.
How long it holds out.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
so that's fun. Today it's probably just a remix of what I was going over last week. A lot of like the fact that we just moved a little bit further forward with this Iran invasion a la the United States and Israel, and which is not just isolated to Iran. It's the surrounding areas. Israel is also attacking. And there's been a lot of media shilling. It's amazing how when the ratings are good for going against Trump, they go against Trump. When the ratings are, I guess, good or compelling, then they're like, oh yeah, fearless hero, like leader, like lead us through this horrible war that the Iranians are causing, or just bombing everything at random, as if that there is no rhyme or reason for what they're doing. And so that's where we basically are right now. We've kind of come through it a few days. But not a whole lot has changed other than a new Ayatollah, the son of Khamenei, been.
That's the challenge here is like how much has actually changed, like knowing what's actually happening and not. And that's been the struggle.
Right.
And what even now I'm like looking at my phone trying to. News stories continue to come out. It's like when a mass shooting happens where headlines start flying all over the place, and knowing what is and isn't true, or even if like maybe there's partial truth to I'm trying very hard to hold back because you'll see, like just this morning we saw a thing where it's they're like, Benjamin Netanyahu's house has been struck and his brother has been killed and Ben Gvir is in the hospital, and then you're like, well, the only source I can find for that is the tweet saying that. So I'm not gonna
I think it would
try to
be a
avoid
lot
running out into the
more.
streets to like
Yeah, I
celebrate
think that we
headlines
could
that may not be
anticipate
real.
we'd be hearing that from a lot more sources in a lot more ways, people trying to scoop each other if that was the case, because that would be pretty serious. So
Or
I'm
is it that
hesitant.
the U.S. doesn't want us to know because that would look really bad if Iran can just hit frickin' Netanyahu's brother whenever they feel like it? Like,
Yeah, and
uh,
right, yeah, it goes back to what I was saying. Is right now the
are
media
things
is
worse
doing.
or better than these?
Yeah, well, the media is doing a lot of shilling. Like they're really acting like this is a justified situation and that it's that they deserved it. And they're these, it's not just these, firebrand idiot politicians coming out and stirring things up. It's the media doing this in a major way. And if you're keeping score at home, you know that we are no fan of mainstream media. It's not just bot voices and things like that, but you cannot trust any mainstream source at this time. And so many people get their.
Oh man, see, I don't know if I'm down or you're down right now. It isn't giving me the thing. I don't know. Chat. Chat, tell me, are you seeing frozen me or frozen Nicolette? Or is Nicolette hearing everything I'm saying? Oh, it might actually be them for what the heck? I'm the one who's supposed to have weird internet right now. All right. Let's fricking jump into it so we don't just waste your time watching us fight online. Look, The Guardian, I don't want to pay you. I want to look about Trump claiming that Iran or somebody else could have carried out a strike against a bunch of school children. That's right. That's where we're starting, everybody. Uh, the fun times have officially ended with Trump, and I've been saying that for a while. Where it's not that like, oh hooray, I was having a great time with the guy before, but you used to at least get like he'd say something funny or there'd be some it's been a long time since nothing bad can happen, it can only good happen, and it's just kind of been it's over. It's we're basically just at Biden entirely now, because the difference between him and Biden was that Trump would do something funny sometimes, but now it's just we are yet again at another. I think it's just what our presidents are now. Sin eater presidents. They do things that are extremely unpopular, and then, like as you were talking about, like the media gets to have a fun time being like, "Oh, look how horrible and bad the president is," and to tee us up for President Newsom in like
Yes.
a few more years. Be like, "Look, this guy is so much better," and then we're gonna kind of just go through that again. It's just like the honeymoon period gets shorter and shorter. We had a couple of years or a year, I don't know, of like Biden being like, oh, maybe he'll do, but it kind of becomes, oh, we're resolved to he's going to do whatever the international war machine wants him to do. Trump
And
has
we
like
also have
3 months.
Kamala Harris threatening to run in the race again to drive
Oh,
things
yeah,
back into Newsom's territory to act like he's going to be our Lord and Savior of all things righteous and good.
But just to talk about how you got to at least try to verify make a minimal attempt to see if the thing you're about to tell somebody else is real or not, because oh boy, we were in the first days, and you hear about that Iranian school strike, and in that sentence, is Iranian the striker, the strikey, or both? Because I had people telling me both. It went from hey, the war started and they immediately were hitting schools. This seems like a bad thing. To somebody being in my face, you idiot! Iran hit their own school because they're so inept and bad at missiles that they
And
just shot a
evil.
missile and it came right back on their own. And they had either a screenshot or video clip or something to supposedly back that up. And now you have like CNN just straight up being like, nah, it was this specific kind of missile that only the U.S. has, and it was a confirmed U.S. strike. Blah blah. It may have been the strikes were chosen by an AI, which is hilarious. They're like, yeah, we use this AI and just like street data to choose the missile strikes. Is like, is that what happened? And I think that would be like trying to be a layer of like, no, we didn't do it on purpose. Of course not. It was the mean, nasty AI that bombs schools and water plants and essential infrastructure. We don't do that. Only Russia does that. Our AI would never do that. Anyway, sorry, we would never do that. Only AI would. But now it's just fully confirmed. Like it was definitely the U.S. that hit a bunch of school children, 160, 170 people confirmed dead, and then they hit it again 40 minutes after. You know, the shit that Israel does, where when everyone runs in to try and help, you got to hit them too. The double tap, as it is said. So like. Here we are, everybody. We in the past we got to go, oh, look at what Israel is doing with our money, and now it's just look at what America is doing with our money.
Yep.
And I wanted to read down Here we go. We got the Guardian talking about. Uh, See, this gets to be spun as from the Guardian. They're like, look, see how bad the current president is. When he's not the guy, everything sure will be better. President makes evidence-free claim to video, yeah, because he gets to do his double talk, and they get to be like, "Can you believe the president lies?" And it's like, yeah, man, we're all like more than 6 years old. As oil prices surged amid the widening war with Iran, Donald Trump suggested without evidence on Monday that the strike on Iranian elementary school could have been carried out by Iran or somebody else, which is what somebody was saying to my face on the internet the day it happened. During back-to-back appearances in Florida, Trump was asked whether the U.S. would accept responsibility for a strike that hit the school and killed scores of people, many of them children, after video evidence showed a U.S. Tomahawk struck the naval base next to it. It struck the naval base next to it. Hey, we wouldn't strike a school. In response, the president claimed the bombing had been carried out by Iran or somebody else. It's something that I was told is under investigation, but Tomahawks are used by others. As you know, numerous other nations have Tomahawks. They buy them from us. Trump said the U.S. had a little excursion to the Middle East to get rid of some evil, but suggested the war, now in its second week, was ahead of schedule and near completion. You see stories where and maybe it's just a cynical way to try and like flip the market, because that's what they do. The whole our entire stock market, etc., is just like a pump and dump, but with really rich people. He keeps going, like every night he'll say, we're basically done with this war. And then every morning he's saying, this war could last years. Like, we're in for the long haul against Iran. Like, is this just market manipulation? I don't believe he has any control over when anything starts, stops, etc.
Right.
Everyone talk about how weird and unplanned all this seems. It's because this war was planned in like the 70s, and the giant machine, because you've heard me talk about it, how I think we have basically a fully automated government and nobody's really making meaningful decisions at any level until the thing frickin' falls apart.
Trump is just a smoke screen because he's so distracting and awful that everybody just immediately thinks he's the world leader. He's in charge. He's calling all the shots. He is not doing shit.
He's the picture on the front of the machine.
Money put him in charge of anything, honestly, no.
He's the advertisement that the machine currently has on the front of it. But this war was decreed in the 70s, and now it's happening. Well, we didn't even build up our oil reserves before because nobody can really do. You have Pete Hegseth talking about how like Jesus Christ wants this war, and like that's like all you have. There's not some like cold, maniacal, calculating, that now our plan will fall perfectly into place. They just got the same dumbass plan that they wrote in the 70s back when we had such insane superiority over everybody except for the USSR.
Right.
That like I guess maybe I don't think this would have worked in the 70s either. But man, when we did Iraq, we had like 10 times as much shit in the area, and it seemed to be more. I don't even want to say plan. I don't know. It seemed like there was a concept.
Intentional.
But now we're just gonna hit him.
You know what? I'm gonna let you talk, but I do want to interject with something because I kind of want your thoughts on this as well. Something's kind of been a brewing in my mind here over this past about week or two, like where we're sitting here looking at like. Domestically, the country is falling apart. It couldn't be in worse condition. It really, even when you think about the 70s, across the board, it really could not be in worse condition. Internationally, with the embargo on Cuba, the trying to, Iran, obviously, trying to aggress against Russia and China and go them into war because making them, help Cuba and stuff like this. So on the world stage as well, it makes me wonder with, because here we got, everything from like ICE to like no jobs to AI getting forced down our throats, no food, no gas prices are insane. So if you combine all of these, because it does seem like a million little fires if you're not really looking at a big picture, but I'm starting to wonder, because we've talked about this before, that the rich people will leave. They will take their money and they will go.
They're gonna do.
And we know before all this particular era of dust up, right, that America was failing in technology, it was failing in industry and on the global scale, failing in education, failing in like a domestic production, failing in every way that it possibly, failing in like health quality, like the years average life expectancy was dropping, like every way a country could collapse and fall. I'm starting to feel like, so I'd like to see what you think about this, like, because we know now conspiracy theories are real and then left thing is off the table. So I don't think it's too far off base to think that like, all right, the real people, the lizard people with the money are tired of like realize that the United States is a bad investment at this point. There's really nothing left to scrape
It's like a
away.
going out of business sale. They're just like, how
Yes,
much can you
that's what
get?
I'm saying. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. Like everything happening at once like this, because it does. It seems like a million little fires. But if you combine it all together, doesn't it not seem like these people are intentionally sinking the United States to pull out and go and invest in other more profitable places in the world, particularly when we're looking at China and Russia doing so well on the global scale, China in particular. So that's just what I'm thinking. Like this looks like, because we've said before, well, the United States has been circling the drain since the 70s. Well, it's been circling the drain since they blew the heads off of a couple of of a president in the middle of a parade, and then 4 years later did it to his brother. When it cannibalized itself that way, all bets were off. And then we know in the 70s how economically bad and internationally and diplomatically bad it was. But now I think that maybe we have hit the point where the people the powers that be, the real powers that be, the real lizard people out there whose names you'll never know, the great big donors, the for real people with the money, have decided that America is no longer worth the investment and are allowing Trump to take the brunt of this. Because obviously everyone hates him on both sides. Like very few people are sycophantic about him anymore. So it seems to me maybe this is an intentional sinking of the United States on the global scale.
Jimmy Dore has the phrase where he calls it the controlled demolition of the economy, and it's like, yeah, basically. If I want to try to explain, like, think about this from a system, not explain, I don't freaking know what's going on.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, we're theorizing,
this.
but again, like everything is on the table at this point. Like, and the Epstein stuff too. I didn't mention that by name, but that's what I meant. Like that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. That really said, "Hey, everybody's in on this. It's mostly, or in a very large part, America or United States that is behind all this." So that too.
If I'm looking at this from I've heard Marxists make the analysis, or at least present the idea that, so we had formerly, I guess, kind of sort of like three classes where there was like, okay, there used to be separation of like the bourgeois class and the government, where the bourgeois class did have a purpose, where like its managerial purpose, like it did allocate capital. When I say purpose, that doesn't mean like they were doing a great job, but like they had a function in society. And that function, the more I look around, the more I believe this is true. It just has been subsumed by the state, by like the American government, and well, not just the American government, like NATO and all that, etc. Like, who decides where capital goes now? It's just the government. And if you remove any kind of, there used to be some kind of friction-ish between theirs, because the government, by its like conceit, at least in the U.S., is supposed to be an of, for, and by the people institution that has that is motivated towards improving the life of not improving the life of the citizenry, because that makes it sound like emotional, etc. But you need a certain amount of
the workforce,
food, education, etc., to have competent workers to get the entire machine running. So the government's job was like to make sure there was some base level of something that then the capitalists can go, oh cool, we have workers, fantastic, we can get them into factories, scientists, etc. Like they can serve a purpose for us. But the gov and private industry, the capitalist class, they do. Like, does the bourgeois have anything to even be doing anymore? Or have they all just kind of smushed together with the gov and made this, I don't know if it's a new class, but you no longer have really like, oh, the lobbyists have to go to beg the government to do they're all just one thing.
You're just doing it. Yeah. There's no backdoor deals really happening. No handshakes, backslapping kind of shit. It's all like I think we were talking about that before the show or a couple days ago or something. You're just like, this is all just so haphazard seeming, but it's just like, like that seems like maybe that's what it is, because we've been complaining forever about the collusion between the upper class and the government. So that's what I'm saying.
The goal is not even taking oil, it's controlling the markets. They need development to not happen. And if there is an active war zone, development will not be happening. They didn't go into Venezuela to go build a bunch of infrastructure and because that would involve building up the country. They want oil markets to be controlled by them.
Right. And you know what I think some really compelling evidence towards what we're saying here is what you're saying is when Trump, they let Trump think he's in charge, right? Because obviously you would. You don't want anybody bucking the system, right? You
They're
get
telling him this war is really popular, apparently,
and he's supreme leader and all this, and he's going to make so much money and blah 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 blah. Because all you got to do is wave money and medals in front of
he
his
already
face,
blamed
right?
the war on Jared Kushner. He straight up was like, that was Jared Kushner's idea.
Well, I mean, the same thing that happened was like Biden was feeble and incapacitated and stuff, so they had another puppet, and then between the Trumps here, the Trump sandwich. So it's always a matter of somebody that they can control. But like as you were just saying about having control of the oil market, like he seemed to believe that he was calling all these shots, right? So he says, okay, we've got Venezuela, and now we're going to pump out all that oil, and we're going to have so much of it. And then they had this kind of round table with the oil executives, and they're like, no, bro, no fucking way. We are not building that infrastructure. We got what we wanted. We have control of the supply. It's going to stay in the ground. And then he was kind of like, because there was really like I think that shows you like he like because it pulls the mask off there because he thinks he's in charge. He thinks he called those shots because he's stupid. And then these people are like, we're not putting that money out there, and he did it in a very public way, so like really, really, really burned him if he cared about that kind of shit. But I think that's compelling argument for what I'm trying to get at here. I think that this is a fire sale, that they're everything going tits up at the same time.
When they were a separate kind of thing, you would have some kind of minimal buffer where the government would kind of have some kind of controls over something. But since they have essentially morphed into one entity, there is no... This is what they would have been doing in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, but there was apparently some kind of something stopping them, something holding them back. Maybe capital had not yet gotten into like the kind of spiral it's in. Because now we're in a spiral of like large numbers, where if you do, Marx has a thing, the tendency of the rate of profit to decline, which mainstream bourgeois economists will be like, it's never been proven. And then you just show any chart of just overall return, like by percentage. The dollar numbers go up, but remember, your dollar is currently worth less than 1,000th of what it was in just the 70s, because that was the reason they had to get gold out of there, not because gold has magic properties, but because it gave you some consistent measurement thing. And now it's just monopoly money and everything is fake and made up. The actual, when you account for inflation, like the percentage of your super profits, if you want to call them that, has been continually going down. Like it has little bumps, but overall it just has the tendency to decline.
Right.
And we're reaching a point where it's like, well, the shit can't sustain itself. It only sustains itself if it has a certain amount of super profits, and we're not getting it.
All of that has been extracted for the past 50 years. Just, robber barons extracting it. The people that you were talking about, when I say shorthand lizard people, I'm talking about the Epstein class. I'm talking about these people. Some people some people you will never have heard the names of, like the superpower people, like that have so much money that they basically have superpowers. That, these people, like now I think that they have seen the writing on the wall since then and realized they could just continue to extract value. And now that we've gotten to a point where we're really have scraped bottom on this country, there's no resources, there's no there's no quality standard of living. We're considered, I think, like 60% of all people at this point, last I heard, which was a while ago, are living at or below the poverty level and have no they don't believe themselves to have a quality of life. Conversely, there was just a poll done by I think NBC, maybe I think NBC that says the overall popularity among just people, like regular people, of AI is at 26%. So you think like, oh well, maybe take the sales pitch of taking all the jobs and ruining the world was not like the best approach. So we know from our own standard of living and being here, things are shit. We know that
it's all to avoid reduction in the work week.
Yeah,
it's all inevitably leading to
and we know things here are shit, and we know that our country that we have no control over because we've learned here in the past few decades that voting doesn't work, and that's something like that sounds like something George Carlin, going back all of that.
It's engineered to not work. If it was a thing that could work, like if there was even a possibility of anything happening through the ballot box, it would be subverted. And we've even seen that happen actively when somebody who's even a tiny bit progressive gets into office. I got
Yes.
I'll hit these. Let's hit this in sequence, just because heck,
Yeah.
we kind of.
Yeah,
I
I
had
wanted
a
anyways, I wanted to address that because I feel like that might be the bigger looming issue here, and we'll probably end up on this again because we're watching it happen. And
the
and
reason I
maybe
have optimism. It's like a dark kind of. This sounds like I'm
dark
being a bummer.
optimism.
It's like dark optimism because it's like. We do not. The thing that's gonna fail, and well, already is failing, to make all of this stuff impossible is what we perceive as like lack of planning. Like, oh, these dummies, they just didn't even do it right. It's like I don't think we have the infrastructure to do most of the things. Like
Right.
our power grid is kind of shitty. Our like the
And we're adding
basic
all these data
infrastructure.
centers to it. Like
That's what I mean. Like
we're
our
not China.
basic
China has the
stuff.
infrastructure. They saw the writing on the wall. They built for the future and they can sustain this.
The
So
fact that our
whatever they're
aircraft
doing with it is
carriers.
not our problem. You got to think about, what we are. Go ahead.
The aircraft carriers are having like toilet issues. Like it's like
Mhm.
basic stuff because
Basic.
there is no maintenance done. None of this, the fact that we see it on the ground here, there's no like forethought for like the details of what it actually takes to do a thing. It's just a single-minded like the goal is this. We will break down any barrier to make line go up or whatever
Yeah.
corporate
Up
goal.
and to the right. And fun fact, AI can't unclog a fucking toilet, people. So like there need to be jobs out there. So
Very soon, I think the lights will go out and they won't come back on, and then something can happen. But like
maybe,
until
yeah.
then, the big ass machine is just gonna keep rolling, and maybe Iran is the thing that makes it kind of oh shit, and like maybe that's what messes up because it certainly seems to be messing up a lot of these international alliances. But I had a sunshiny thing. If you're in Mexico.
Which a
I
lot of
conti-
Americans are these days. So
I continue to be happy with the stuff that maybe it's just because the accounts I follow are like they have a vested interest in. Like, we're again optimism. You want to be like, look, other people are doing the thing that should be done. Because
right.
Claudia Steinbaum is not an extreme communist or whatever. She is just like she's like a Bernie Sanders level, but I don't know the thing Bernie like says he was before it turned out he's
Right.
just
But has
freaking
been
known for
allowed
it.
to be successful. I feel like almost as if even though Bernie was a sham and a distraction, had he been allowed to do it and be successful, we maybe would have seen something. If everybody just was like, oh, if fair is fair, he's elected, get out of his way. But
And this is her talking. It hasn't happened yet, but in this, I'm not even gonna play it. You won't be able to hear the audio. It's like, how much did you borrow for a home? She told me, she's talking to somebody, 600,000 pesos. And it's like, well, how much did you owe? Like, what was your loan total? It was 800,000 because you have your interest. And it's like, well, how much have you already paid for your house? $1 million. You're just laying out the basic, like, how does my house cost this much? It's like, well, who understands that? Nobody. That doesn't make any sense, right? Is it understood that it is understood that there is interest year over year, but how is it possible to pay for a house twice and and you still haven't finished paying for it? Also,
Right.
she owes more than the loan was for. Like, it's this stuff we've been going over forever. Like
Forever, yeah.
Regular people were like, yeah, man, that sure seems messed up. Anyway, I guess I gotta go live my life. She's talking about wiping out debts. What is it, like 5 million predatory mortgage loans issued? Remember when we had our predatory mortgage loan thing,
Yes.
and Obama bailed out the banks that
bank,
had issued
said.
the loans and allowed people to lose their homes? And that doesn't fuck up your economy at all but it makes sense if it's from the must increase super profits, gotta keep the freaking machine going. The people who run the government just are the same as the ones that run the companies. They've just morphed into one class. Like, it makes complete sense for them. Meanwhile, in Mexico, they're talking about, all right, we're just going to eliminate some debt. Meanwhile, you have China like, all right, this African country technically owes us like $1 trillion, but we're just like, nah, it's fine.
It can be done. I don't want anybody to believe like, oh, it's too high or the numbers and you don't. It can be
You're
done
the government.
in a second. It can
It's
be done this moment.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese reducing the ticket price on a sucker. It doesn't.
Yes.
Of course they can. You just take the number and change it.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah, that's literally it.
You issue currency. It's based on nothing.
Nothing.
It is so easy. It is easier. That's why, again, optimism. Our shit is so set up for this to just happen, like tomorrow. Well, how do we eliminate the debt? What about the metal reserves? We don't even do that. You just take the number, delete it, and type a new number, and it's done. Like, we've done
Yeah.
all the hard shit. If you were trying to do this in like 1850, okay, you'd have to then be, you have like bankers with literal bullion and like piles that you have a Scrooge McDuck vault you have to contend with. Our money is fake. It is a proprietary technology of the USA that we just loan out. It's like if Apple was worried about what are we going to do about these iPhones, it's like, bitch, you own all the iPhones, you can do whatever you want. Like, your house costs $1, bread costs nothing. This
Right.
I mean,
it can be done. Like, it doesn't have to be done like in like, oh well, this company now cannot is no longer allowed to no, it can be done in fair, marketable
your house
way.
cost X, you've paid X plus 10%. Yeah, that's over. That mortgage is over.
Exactly.
And the bank will be like, but oh, sorry, bank, we're going to take you now. So,
and you know what? In Florida, I don't want to give Florida any credit, but in Florida, and I also don't know the specifics of this, but just to kind of tell you how this can work, they have just eliminated property tax, like personal property tax, like, or they say that they have. I don't know exactly if that really worked out the way that they're saying it is, but that can, like
huge
imagine
if
a whole
true.
state saying we don't need that revenue that we've been charging people like crazy.
Take off my screen. Don't let them see that I'm Googling Florida property tax.
Yeah, no, I don't know the specifics. I had that's kind of just a headline that I had heard. And Indiana was supposed to have been doing the same thing, but that actually was fraud. So it didn't materialize in any.
The fact that I see a bunch of like, oh God, this could hurt, blah, blah, like about how bad it is makes me think, oh, maybe they did it actually, because you have like the Pensacola News, like state efforts to kill property taxes could cost Santa Rosa $33 million. Like, what do you mean cost Santa Rosa? Like that they don't then have to pay out of their.
Yeah, right.
If your single domicile should absolutely not have property tax like that. I think.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like like businesses and things like that. People, oh shit, I'm talking about like your exactly your personal domicile shit. There's no longer property tax.
I would assume that Florida, if they did that, just knocked out all property tax, which does end up benefiting corporate property more, like private property. Personal property tax should not happen. Private property tax depends on the situation and if you're doing a thing that the government thinks you should be doing, and then if your government is evil or not, because that's what ours does is, oh, we think you should be doing these things that regular people would not want done. Meanwhile, you go over to more logical things like, China, and if you're doing something important, you are taxed like less, or if you're, oh, we don't really like that you're doing that, then your taxes kind of go up, the way we incentivize everything in a society. Like, oh my God, gambling apps, 110% tax, whatever. Like, for
right,
DraftKings.
Like the worst shit in the world. But
hospital, okay, a little less.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. If that is the case, and it's just like straight up, no more. Okay, I'll do. Then that just goes to show you it can be done and reasonably simply legally. Like through the legal channels or the governmental channels. So I don't know if it's going to turn out the Indiana way.
This is for primary for primary homeowners. Hey, maybe good job, Florida. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Like I kind of like I feel like, because like I said here, it didn't work out. They said they were going to do it, and then actually they're just like, you pay $60 less on your $600+ debt of a year, and it's like a lot of people have said like, well, at the very least, like senior citizens should not have to pay. Like, no, nobody should have to fucking pay on like a property tax on their fucking own property, because if you can lose your house to property, then you don't fucking own it. That's the whole thing here. And that does sound, that it's a little bit Florida, right? Like, don't tread on me bullshit. Like, but it's like, did they take something stupid and do something great? Like, I don't know, maybe remains to be seen. But that backs up what Jared is saying, that it can be done. It can be done easily. It can be done quickly. And it's not exactly wiping out debt, but it is saying like, okay, like you don't have to worry, about coming up with that money.
It's actually the purpose of government, if you ask me. I think there's more than one purpose, but the whole like
taking care of people,
dishing out money in ways that it makes sense to do it and that are advantageous, and then if they aren't profitable, which is going to be a lot of the things that you need money to do, you eat it. Like, China is the only example I got. I'm sorry I keep bringing them up. When they develop in Africa, it's not because they just love Africans so much and want them to be happy. I mean, it ends up having that knock-on effect, but they're building railways and highways and electric grids, etc., because they want the stuff in Africa to be saleable to China, and you have to get it out of the ground, and you have to process infrastructure, like we're talking about with Venezuela, the kind of stuff that the U.S. will not be building in Venezuela or Iran or any of these places that we show up.
Or any of the oil companies, wherever they headquarter out of. Like, they straight up are like, no, we're not doing it. We got what we wanted.
China has shown a pattern of they show up, help build a road or pay for whatever it is, and then at the end, when it's all kind of done, they look at the bill and just go, we're good. And then
we're good. We're going to get out of this more than we put into it. And that is like literally how business is done. Like,
yes.
like everywhere.
People say, oh, China's capitalist. I'm like, yeah, they are actually capitalist. They actually like do business in a way that would make sense as opposed to whatever the hell we're doing over here.
Like, if capitalism functioned in a logical way, I don't think people would hate it. But it's so exploitable and has been exploited to such a great degree. Back like what we were saying, like how bad things are in this country, that like if there were not so many ways to fuck with it, like people would not even be talking communism, socialism, capitalism. Nobody would even be talking about it because we'd be living functionally. That's why people are talking about it now. And it's still, those are economic ideologies. They're not like human ideology.
I rail on the economics because it doesn't require anyone to like morally agree. It's hard to get people to morally agree on certain things. Well, but like when you get things to its most basic economic factors, people tend to agree a lot because I'm just describing our common interest. I'm not saying that we go out and do something because we're all nice about it. I want us to pursue our common interest in the same way that the class that rules us does.
And if everybody's dead, nobody's making any fucking money. They've also got these rich bastards have this idea that they're going to go live on their own magic Epstein Islands and people are going to be their slaves. Man, those slaves are going to fucking cut your throat so fucking fast. Like, it's over, dude. Like, if you fucking think that anybody is going to serve your ass on your stupid private island, you're fucking dead. Like, that's all that there is to it. Yep. Don't let anybody around any sharp fucking objects.
Whenever you have examples of them trying to do it's funny because they're describing Atlas Shrugged. In Atlas Shrugged, all the rich people are like, these people don't even deserve us. These ungrateful bitches. We're gonna go make our own perfect society. And even in that book, they don't just go off and go live. No, they start like sabotaging world infrastructure to make the rest of the freaking globe collapse.
Yeah, and that's sort of, I'm constantly bringing up the example of, even though it's fiction, constantly bringing up the example of the Fallout show, where the Americans intentionally nuke the world to sell vaults to people. And that's what I'm talking about in this scenario. Like, it feels like that's what's happening to the United States right now if you add all of these things together, instead of looking at them like 100 tiny fires, but a gigantic inferno to burn the United States to the ground, because it is no longer profitable. And it's not just because, like, that's long standing, like I said, where we don't make our own domestic products. We don't make, we're not leading in any kind of technology. Nothing in our culture has changed in about the past 25 years. Think about, like, if you went to high school in the early aughts, like, what's really all that different from then, right?
Long 2016 is how I've heard it described. We're just in 2016 forever.
Right? Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. This feels intentional at this point. And I don't know if I'm going galaxy brain or if everybody's already thought of this or what. But that's what it feels like to me, that the people are kind of pulling up, the people who put the money into the United States are pulling up stakes, letting it implode, letting it die. And then they're going to go out to the rest of the world and, I don't know, do this somewhere else.
It's why like people will question, like, why do you have I have an American flag and right next to my hammer sickle, boom, in most of my like screen names, partially because it just annoys the right kind of the people I want to annoy, and encourages the people that I want to encourage. Because what are we just supposed to? Regular ass boring people in the U.S. Still currently like the American flag. They like the idea of like Americanness, and like the American people I very much like. That's my mom and dad and neighbors and people I went to high school with, etc. The actual people of the
American,
country,
like it or not, like that's
the actual people here. And like you're saying, the whatever the hell class is above us now They do seem like they're going to jump ship, and what am I supposed to be like? See, they hate America just like me. Like, no, man. Like, see, they don't give a shit about any of you. Who has been here the whole time? Who's like actually demonstrating, doing work on the ground, and that's what the commies are supposed to be. The most patriotic thing one can be is a communist, because they just mean like, oh, so you mean like the Nazis? I'm like, do you think the Nazis benefited the general boring ass German citizenry?
Right? No. So yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. I think that, and I'm glad we're on the same page about this, because like it does feel like we are nuking the world or the country to sell vaults, basically.
I hate that it's not Alex Jones's fault, but like the phrase is tainted. Globalists. It's like, yes, they're not Americans. Half of these people are in no way Americans. They're entirely from other countries. NATO, the people who sit in I should pull it up, but like some guy this last week just said out loud, like, the purpose of NATO is to advance American interest. Like, we are a new
America's
empire.
going, the purpose of America is to advance Israeli interests.
Israeli interest. Like, it used to be almost silly to be like, that representative should be deported because he has all this Israeli connection, and now it's like, no, that representative should be deported because he has all these. Like, why not? Like, did
like
I
fucking Lindsey Graham out here? It's like, okay,
I don't got 2 passports. This is me. I'm just here. If it goes down, I'm going down with it. Most Americans don't have passports at all. No. People talk about, oh, you're gonna run away to. No, run away. What? Fucking, they're the ones who suck. They should leave.
Yeah, right? You get out of the fucking country, you jerk offs. Let us have it back.
So I have optimism in again, more. It's dark optimism.
I love it. Dark optimism.
So the war just does not seem to be going well, even from any perspective. Because the thing that would be best for the Empire is if this became another quagmire where it just lasts forever and nobody can develop. But you have now we're learning about it, Strait of Hormuz. I hate learning geography. They got a bit of water that like that a whole ton of stuff goes through, and would be very devastating to the global economy if it was shut down. And it currently is, because guess what? Iran gets to run it. Kind of like how we went and built a canal in Panama with a bunch of soldiers. And all right, so it's very difficult to get accurate information as to how the war is going at all. You'll see reports of this was blown up, this guy was blown up, this was killed, etc. And it's hard to confirm it. So what people have been doing is they're going on and just looking at raw satellite footage, just satellite pictures of the Earth. So that's becoming problematic for many reasons. So we have this. Satellite firm pauses imagery after revealing Iran's attack on U.S. bases. They don't want us to know. I don't want to be overly optimistic. How well Iran is doing at resisting the empire right now, and so
no, I think it's pretty clear that they're hiding. That's what I meant by that. The media in these companies are shilling for the United States and for the government.
It is crazy what happens when you fight an opponent that shoots back at you.
Propaganda, and they were fucking ready. Like, this is what happens when
their whole country is based on this.
Yes,
well, their whole country is eventually the great Satan, known as the U.S., is going to come over and try to kill us all, and now it's happening. And they're like, "Yep, okay, let's go, baby."
Right. Well, that's what happened when Biden threw open the coffin doors to like the weapons supply to Israel and say, "Use as you please on civilians. It's not a genocide. Wink. We're gonna put hotels or whatever the crap and get your oil and minerals." That like really actually dwindled our stash of weaponry, and
we're like out of bombs.
Yeah, and that's why you have Trump going back and forth, going, I think we could wrap this up, or actually probably maybe not, or it probably will be done in a day or so. I think maybe
we're pulling shit out of Ukraine, which I was told that you have to protect Ukraine or Russia's going to take over the whole world, but apparently it's not that important anymore. And then we have South Korea, like they're pulling the fads out of, I don't know what this is, apparently they're important and expensive and necessary. South Korea can't have them anymore because they're needed in the Middle East. So now South Korea is talking about like, hey, North Korea, can we just be friends again, man? Let's wind down this war. Like, crazy things. Right? Bahrain is in like a semi-revolution now because they're pissed off that they're getting bombed for America, and then America did not help them. So they're like, well, fucking, what's the whole point of this? Because they're run by literal kings. Like, they have a monarchy and they aren't horribly popular. So now this is just the catalyst for, okay, let's flip this country over. Do not get ahead of myself.
That's kind of another point against what we're saying here, that America is being like tanked on purpose, is because these other places are grabbing that and like we need to like de-invest, because that's gonna create like basically a bank run on the United States of like, we need to get out of here right
I don't
now.
get optimistic on the currency thing just because of what I was saying earlier, how U.S. dollars and U.S. backed, basically every single bit of money in the world is proprietarily owned by the U.S., so money moves are, I'm less optimistic about that. Like, I stopped talking about, like, oh, BRICS is going to make a whole new currency. It's like, they kind of can't. It's basically impossible. It'd be like making a new Google. Like, Bing is not going to take off.
Yeah.
Even
We're
the Chinese
gonna-
yuan, even China, their money is still tons of U.S. securities, and everyone's trying to like lower that, but I think that's kind of a lost cause. Planet Labs, one of the world's leading commercial satellite imaging companies, said Friday it is placing a hold on releasing imagery of some parts of the Middle East as a regional war enters its second week. The company, which brands itself as Planet, operates a fleet of several hundred Earth imaging satellites designed to record views of every landmass on Earth at least once per day. Its customers include think tanks, NGOs, academic institutions, blah, blah, blah. But it seems that they are not doing that as much because we keep getting shots like this, where it's like, oh, okay, they hit that base, hit that, hit that. Remember, we're told that Iran just can't do anything. They're backwards cave monkeys who have technology of, like, they don't know what fire is. Meanwhile, they seem
oh my
to be able
God,
to...
do you love this argument about this is about a liberation of women and this is about feminism? Like, I'm gonna fucking kill everybody I hear saying this shit.
In order to save Iranian civilians and women, we have to bomb a girls' school twice.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotta save them.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Like that is this is like that is like the dumbest, like that's like where the liberals get involved. Like of why when you hear the liberals trying to justify this, it's always about, well, it's about liberating the women, and you know, and in the 50s they used it. No, shut the fuck up. Shut up forever.
Remember the 10 to 80,000 protesters that were apparently mowed down by the Iranian government because they're so unpopular, and then as soon as this war kicks off, you have literal millions of people standing in the streets being like, we will fucking fight a die.
Right.
Like,
and we were saying that in the beginning, like we were like, we don't.
That's the new beheaded babies. That's the new just lie that they just throw around.
Yeah.
That's been debunked, but they're just gonna keep saying. They're still saying the fucking babies and incubators thing.
Right.
Who a line, because I've been watching a lot of Michael Parenti, and he brings it up because that was fresh at the time, the 500 incubators, and he's like, well, there's 60 incubators in the entire state of California. So like, where the hell do they get 500? Like, are they specializing? Like, they're just ridiculous lies on their face. We had Cheney or something. They had some like diplomat's daughter who got up and testified where that came from, and it's like, this has just been thoroughly debunked from every possible angle, and the president, Biden included, get on TV and just repeat it, and then people go, wow, those beheaded babies.
And
like,
say that they saw it. Like okay, if you think you saw that, who is showing you what? Like, what did you actually fucking see? Like,
what did you see anything? Did you just make it up,
or did you just make that up? Exactly. Like, that's the question.
Did they get like Sam Raimi in there to do like a effect with like a baby?
No, like they just like slide a piece of printed paper of an AI picture across the desk and are like, this is the beheadings.
It's like, this appears to be footage from a Cronenberg film.
Right.
And it fooled 2 presidents. Oh my God, then the baby turned into a little spider monster and ran across the thing. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Making a joke about the thing. Okay, so where are we here? We're hearing about how Iran. Oh yeah, this map. This leads into this. We have this map, and we're like, why are they bombing? Oh my God, they're bombing Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Bahrain and Kuwait and all this.
Why might they be doing that?
I'm not going to replay Jon Stewart's on TV, and if I was 16 right now in the same place, I would have been like laughing along with him. Where it's getting portrayed as Iran is this psychopath that's just bombing, quote, just bombing everybody randomly. So are they hitting like Kuwaiti girls' schools? Are they hitting Qatari malls? No, these are military bases. Like, why would Iran put its shit so close to all of our military bases? It's just that joke. They don't launch the missiles from Tennessee. They launch them from here and here and here and here. So like, it makes absolute sense that do you think if Iran had a base in frickin' Guadalajara and was launching shit at the U.S., we wouldn't be, the U.S. randomly bombs Mexico. Like,
right. Yeah, and that's another thing, too, that we hadn't even gotten the chance to get into because we don't even really know where it's going. What the fuck is going on in Ecuador?
I haven't even heard about Ecuador. What's happening in Ecuador?
What the fuck? Yeah, I tried to talk about it last week, but then I was like, and the Americans are it just doesn't work. We got a comment from a time traveler who mentions that it's so easy to trick old people with an AI image. We need to have an age limit on presidents. Like, so yeah, okay.
Well, that's me
Uh,
going through like everything. I try not to get like, oh, cool news that I like. Let me spread it around all over the place because it'll be attached to a video. And this is a time where I know this is like why they rolled it out too with Twitter and Grok and the increase in quote vague posting you see because they want you to click on the tweet and then hit the Grok thing to like verify if it's real or not.
yeah.
But I've been doing that, and then I recheck on Google's stupid ass AI, and then I go to like the news tab, like, has anybody talked about this? And generally, it tends to be pretty honest, where it's like because I'll just type in source, and then it goes to the only source available is the very tweet that you're looking at. And it's like,
Right.
yep,
Yeah.
I don't
There
think
is
Ben
a
Gvir
there's
is
an
dead.
extension. There's an for Firefox anyway. There's an extension called Unfuck Google, and that takes
It
away
takes away the freaking.
the AI responses, so
Oh.
that it kind of goes back to Google actually functioning. So I have it, and it seems pretty good. I don't get those stupid AI summaries anymore when I go to look for something.
It just
But
gives me wrong information kind of consistently now, and it's stuff that's basic. It's like,
yeah,
what time does this game start on TV? And it just doesn't know, and it just
right.
lies. It'll just tell me some nonsense, and then I'm like, okay,
Hallucinate something.
let me
And that's
scroll
something
down.
also that we've been talking about for like a couple of years at this point, that this was going to end up where that we were like, why do the social media sites never ban AI? Because they want engagement in any form that they can get it, whether it's like you thinking it's real or you saying it's fucking fake and arguing with people, so that then it becomes so normalized that you have to rely on their products, i.e. Grok, to be able to tell you, or an AI meta to be able to tell you what is real and what is fake. So you're using AI to debunk or verify AI.
Fight
And
with
that is
AI.
only benefiting these fucking corporations.
It's harder and harder to know
And it's
if they
gonna get
really.
harder and harder. It will become indistinguishable by the way that they are just fucking pumping the fucking money into this shit. So
Trying to do at least my first pass of like, has this in any way been corroborated? And usually it's just like, no, this is the only place you see it. But yeah, when it starts getting a more sophisticated than that. But that's the thing. My whole infrastructure argument, do we even have the capability to make it any more sophisticated, or are we just at this level until someone else does? So we have bombing these other countries, bombing U.S. military bases, and trying to eliminate like military readiness strategic hits on various other countries that are hosting the U.S. And the people themselves, and I assume pretty much any of these countries, are not like down with this whole idea. The fact that Bahrain went into like open revolt over their leadership, getting them bombed over U.S. nonsense, because
right.
you're sold like, well, if you let us put a base here, we're gonna protect the hell out of you because look, our people are here now. So if anything happens to you, our base is right there. We will defend you, etc. And that's part of how it's sold, at least to the people there. I mean, the royalty
As if
that
they
accepts
even
the
have
money.
a choice, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
they don't freaking.
it's sort of a pleasantry. Like we're gonna protect you. You don't have a fucking choice.
It's how you try and tell your citizenry that you aren't just like a wholly owned subsidiary of the U.S./Israel, especially in that region, subsidiary of Israel. It pisses people off. So Iran is doing this, which, God, this is so. I don't think anybody will do it, but it's very funny. Israel signals Hormuz. That's the strait. That's the water passage that you got to go through to get all the oil out of the Middle East. Iran signals Hormuz safe passage to countries expelling U.S. and Israeli diplomats. If you want to use the Strait of Hormuz, just fucking close your Israel embassy and we can do it. The disruption of the Strait of Hormuz, a corridor for global oil flows, rapidly lifted crude prices and increased volatility in energy markets, inflation expectations, and safe haven assets. Summary, which is all I'm reading. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, says Arab or European countries that expel Israeli and U.S. ambassadors will be granted full freedom to transit the Strait of Hormuz. There you go, baby. The statement was carried out by Iranian state media and appears aimed at rallying diplomatic support for Tehran amid its war with the United States and Israel. So imagine you're in a country, like, the reason I say funny is like, seems like a diplomatic move that is good and funny. Because if you're citizenry, if you're Bahrain and you're like, our economy is getting destroyed, we can't export, blah blah blah, we're sick of the U.S. and Israel meddling, and they're like, and then Iran's like, well, you can start selling your shit again if you just kick out these very unpopular
Right.
people from your country. You can imagine them going, yeah, do that, government. What the hell? Why don't you just kick them out so we can continue our because it's not just oil. Like, water is becoming a whole thing. We hit a desalinization plant in Iran, and this is all from. Do you know about Professor Jiang? He has his channel is prescriptive history, and like less than a week ago, it's very low, not low budget, but it's not like whooshy YouTube ba 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 kind of stuff. It's him and a whiteboard, and he talks, and then he turns to the camera, and goes, "All right," and then does blah blah blah. All right. He's kind of fun to watch, but he's like, look, here's desalinization. Let's talk about it. And he's going over like the percentages of each country and how much water they get from desalinization, how much they get from this. And Iran gets, according to Jung, like 3%. So like not a ton, even though the villages that are nearby that particular desalinization plant, they rely on that water, but like it's not going to take the whole country down. However, a lot of these like bordery states have like 60, 70, 80, 90% of their water from desalinization. And if the US is like, oh, it's cool if you just start striking these, if Iran starts striking those, it could cause major problems. I don't know if water is directly being shipped in through the frickin' Strait of Hormuz, but I think some food definitely is. So it's not just gas. It becomes like, can we de-isolate our country by doing the very basic act of you just get the Israeli and U.S. ambassadors out? I don't even think they said close the embassy. It's just you just have to eject them, which is kind of common. Like you've heard of that happening in various things. Like blah 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 has expelled the ambassadors. It's like all right, like that seems to happen all the time.
Right. Yeah. And that I think is just another piece of, evidence to say that like, yeah, like if you want to destroy the United States on the global scale, then you just make everybody fucking mad at it because they trashed their fucking water supply.
Already are like that resentment has been there for decades. They've just watched all their neighbors get freaking blown to kingdom come over and over again.
Yeah. And polluted through the, blowing up like, these oil refineries and stuff, so it's like raining oil basically, like so just like in Palestine, like to completely destroy the earth, like scorch and burn shit going on. That's what we're really talking about in the long-term effect, exactly what happened like Cambodia and then Vietnam and all of this. Like that's like some of that, like you got to talk about like birth defects and all the long-term shit that ends up happening when America and i.e. Israel or vis-a-vis Israel, I mean, like our proxy in the area goes and does something like this. So that there are long-term effects to this. And I think like everything we've talked about kind of inadvertently proves that point that, it is America is being de-invested in. It is, and then
you look around and go, wow, who's not doing this? China
right,
sure
yeah,
is
just
chill.
sitting there quietly.
They don't blow anybody up.
and there's another point here that's in the chat. So like, first of all, shout out, hey to Nathan Coyote, thanks for watching. We're glad to have you. And Time Traveler, kind of back a minute ago, mentions, did you believe the draft news? So that is okay. So I've got a few thoughts on
I'd
this.
love to see him try, man. I'd love to see him try to draft this
Let's
country.
do January 6th for real. Like this country will tear the motherfucker apart. Like if that's the last fucking thing that comes out of his mouth, if they try to do that, because they want to sow, they want to sow chaos. And the media then runs with that shit. Like, oh, I even saw like People magazine like headline reporting on it. Like, they just say the draft is not off the table. Like, okay, I'm telling you fucking what, it's off the table, because if they try that shit, it is fucking over. Do you think anybody in this country is this is not World War II where you believe everything you're fucking told and you think you have some sort of duty, to your country. This country is hanging on by a fucking thread. And you think anybody there's already this stupid bullshit going around, which I talked about this last week. This stupid bullshit going around where soldiers who are now politicians are like, you don't have to obey order. Oh, right. Like that's the military culture. You don't have to, you decide, you don't have to, you can obey whatever. So that's nonsense. Like they know that it's a hive mind situation. They know that is literally how the military works, that, you're a bunch of fucking 19-year-old killing machines who are out there trying to play real life video games with people's lives. And they don't fucking give a fuck what they're out there doing. So like, there's not there's not some crisis of consciousness going on. So that is all fucking fallacy. So, but it also falls into the same argument of like trying to say that if you could say that military members have free will and that's how it works, that's also adding credence to the idea that like, oh yeah, like definitely 100% Americans would allow a draft to happen at this point. So like
Nothing
don't
would be more uniting and
right.
solidarity creating than
Absolutely.
a
That would be the end of
national
it. That
draft.
would be the fucking end of it. So try it, fucker. Try it. Like, let's
If I
see
was
how-
a truly, I get accused of being an accelerationist, like I want things to get worse so they can get better faster. If I was an actual accelerationist, that's what I would be pushing for. Is like, please draft us,
Call a
freaking
draft,
bomb an
yeah.
American citizen. Do it. Do some of this shit.
Yeah, try
That
it.
would be
See
your
what happens.
revolutionary inflection point because we're all
Yeah.
sitting. Most of the world that doesn't have a government that gets so like everybody but like a few socialist countries that the few that exist and I guess some of your Nordic countries where people are more like pacified. Everybody's just sitting there waiting for something like Bahrain. It's not like they suddenly got really mad at the U.S. and Israel overnight. That's just been
Right.
sitting
No, this
there
is
brewing
decades in the making.
for generations.
Yeah. Generations.
Like the U.S. How long have we been saying that like they better not do a draft? Like they've said that ever since Vietnam. I grew up with Iraq, and they're like, if they ever try to do a draft, here's all the ways we're gonna get around it. Like that's almost like a cultural thing to like normal ass
Cultural
Americans.
uniter, yeah. No one is ever going to let that happen again. Not to mention that like they're always pissing and moaning about recruitment numbers being down because everybody's too fat and full of drugs and depressed and like they can't like go and fight in any fucking thing. Like, okay, yeah, you think there's going to be a draft? Har fucking har har. Like that is not going to happen, and not only because it fucking can't, but because it fucking wouldn't, and it really would be. That is exactly right. Like if you know you really want to get accelerationist about it, like clap your hands for that shit. Let's see how
Let's see him try to do the Ukraine.
out.
Let's see him try to do the Ukraine shtick where they pull up in a van
Grab
and try
people?
and kidnap us. Bitch, you'd have people getting shot every day over that. People would be concealed carrying their
that right
ass
there,
off.
That
like,
right
no,
there
I
is
will
how
not.
we talked about how like, oh well, you don't the world doesn't turn into Walking Dead overnight. That's how it does. That's how it fucking does.
You'd see community. I don't want to get too optimistic here, but I think you'd see a beautiful coming together of communities,
really
and we'd all get to stand there rednecking it out with shotguns. Like, all right, we're not doing any recruitment here today, boys.
Yeah, that's exactly fucking it, bro. That's exactly fucking it. Like, yeah, like turn around. It's like back in the old days, like when the banks would like foreclose on people's farms and everybody would like show up to the public sale and then like they're like I don't think this farm's for fucking sale actually, you know, and then they'd have to fucking leave and it was over. So that's to say you would never see political spectrum would be non-existent. Like your side,
so,
my
like...
side. It would just, I mean, like maybe that we'd be doing it for different reasons, but you'd have liberal arm in arm with MAGA out there being like, not today, brother, not today. Like, so there is no.
That's the thing that I kind of hope I'm right about.
But they want to keep you. I can't see a single scenario where the United States citizens would support such an effort. Like they would be like, all right, well, I guess because the government told me no. Like you were fighting for this. You're fighting for this. I don't fucking think so.
They forgot to do a 9/11 on us this time. Like last
right.
time.
Oh yeah, and that was. I think I mentioned that last week. Is that like I'm not counting on there being a domestic terror attack. They floated the idea, but if it is, you know, this time maybe they feel like it wouldn't work. But you know, it's not. I don't think it's off the table. I do think that I mentioned that in particular that like
we're also prime for that too. I'm curious how that would even go down because we already have a whole feed talking about like here comes the false flag incoming, blah blah blah. Get ready, like even if it happens, I would be like, okay, so this is fake. Like
right, yeah, and I think
for it.
Too many people would not believe it, even you know, and I don't even think that like no matter what it was, like I don't think that anybody would
they can't
like,
even
well,
kill one Charlie Kirk without people going, it was Israel.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter why you would think it was fake. It's just too many people wouldn't believe it to make it a viable option. But you have to think about like just like a cornered animal. If the United States and the people who have not extracted all the value that they intended to yet through this think that like they need to do a scramble move, that could be the scramble move. Like
you're describing the Samson option, which is the Israeli policy that if they think they're about to lose, they may or may not just start nuking everybody.
Yes. Or like when you see videos of like Israelis like throw themselves on the ground and start screaming and rolling around and act like somebody hit them. Like that's like I think
Oh my god, I remember that. Jesus Christ.
there were so many of those going around. Like they go bump into somebody and throw themselves down and like literally start wailing and like
It's just
acting like they're
so
having a
over.
seizure. Like yeah, like that is like yeah, that's
I feel
so
the
it is
worst for
possible.
regular ass Jewish people who have nothing to do with this,
Right.
or even because there are people who live in Israel who don't want any of this shit.
Right.
Like they were just born there. It's like, oh god, you should
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
Go to Brooklyn. They're very nice there. I've
Yeah, really.
heard.
Go back to your roots. Like go back to
Go to
Spain or whatever,
Poland.
like where your fucking
Go to
grandparents came
Germany.
from before they tried a hostile takeover on somebody else's fucking land. And I'm telling you guys, watch the show Mo. It's on Netflix for at least the time being. And it is about a family of displaced Palestinians who get to Texas by way of Kuwait. And they not only are having to go through the immigration process for citizenship and whatnot. And it is a comedy, so it's funny, but it's also horrific. But the show actually winds up and ends where they take a trip to Israel, or I'm sorry, to Palestine to meet their family that they haven't been able to see in ages. And it turns out that they get there on October 6th. So
There's like a new freaking
not
show. Oh
funny
my
at all,
god.
like at that point. Like it is so it's every single thing you've heard about Israelis in the most realistic portrayal of them and how they behave and what the behavior is and how the Palestinians are treated. And I don't want to spoil every moment of it, but just for an example, like they had gone there because the main character Mo, like their family, his dad died young, and the family that lived there actually had some videotape footage that they'd never seen, so they were bringing it back. It was the first time they were seeing it. And when they were being harassed in customs by the Israeli agents, one of the agents was antagonistically like pushing on the tape and breaking it, like in front of them, like to try to get a rise out of them. And he's like, "Please don't do that. That's got footage of my dad. My dad's been dead for so long. Please don't do that. Please don't do that." And he's just like sitting there looking at him, pushing on it. You can hear it breaking. So like it's like, and there's so many moments like that where it's just like what you're looking at. You know that this is real. Like these people have no reason to just make up these lies. And there's so many moments like that. So I'm telling you guys, like you're not going to see mainstream media portray things as the way that they are. It's very fluky that way. Like I really can't believe it was made. And on that note, this is also what makes the consolidation of the media companies all the worse, because we know that there was a time when Netflix was trying to buy the Warner Brothers studio catalog and all of its properties, which includes like, I don't know, about a third of all things ever made. And then the Ellisons at Paramount and Skydance, they were like, no, we're making a hostile bid, we're taking it. And then Netflix was like, fuck it, we don't even want it. And then they ended up with a couple extra $1 billion out of the deal. But now we have an entire other branch of media completely controlled by the people who already control Paramount, CBS, which we know is under Zionist control. So a lot of things are going to get canceled. There's going to be a lot of fucked up shit that comes out. A lot of, I mean, like not like, oh no, more canceling, but we know that like the industry is suffering greatly. And we are seeing a limiting of voices. We're seeing a quieting of opposition, and we're seeing a monopolization of the entertainment industry, which to me is, and for better or worse, an art form, I think. And I think the most effective one we've ever had. Now there's almost no movies coming out. We don't have pilot season in shows anymore. So there's just like, like with a massive waste of money and energy, but everybody loved that shit, right? And half of that crap wouldn't even make it to air. Right. And I realize I'm rambling a bit here, but I'm just saying, like, here we're getting ready for a whole new, like, shows that you like and love are going to magically start being like pro cop and pro military. There's going to be tons more cop shows. There's going to be tons more like CIA is the good guy shows. Like you just get prepared for that kind of stuff. It's all going to just turn into propagandist garbage. Worse now than it is. But while you can, and since it's a Netflix property, check out the show Mo. And that brings us to the top of the hour. Did you have any final thoughts on what we're on the destruction of America vis-a-vis
It continues to be talk to your when I talk about like the one day the power will go off and it won't come back on, and then you're gonna have to actually meet your neighbors. Try meeting them before that. Like say hello,
Maybe
make
make a
sure they
plan.
like know who you are. You don't even have to be like doomsday preppy with them and be like, guys, the world's gonna end, therefore we have to be friends. Like it's gonna happen anyway. Just establish some kind of better than negative rapport. So then when the lights do go out, it won't be super weird if you're like, hey man, is your power out? What's going
Yeah,
on?
right. Has your power been out for like a week and nobody's answering the phones on anything?
The only people who will actually be there to help you and you help them are people in your immediate vicinity pooling resources together and like trying to keep things going. Is your block going to devolve into everybody scared with guns shooting at each other, or is it going to be us as a collective have our communal then when other people go like, you know what I mean? Try to build, and I don't want to make everything about freaking violence, but like, do you know how to bake? Do you know how to like make a fire?
Well, if you've ever seen
Can you
any
work on a car?
episode of Twilight Zone ever,
Yeah.
you know that the violence is like a foregone conclusion. Like violence is happening. So
I think that in general, like, I don't know, it just becomes a question of like how long does it take for us to essentially rebuild, like seize control of our own lives, our own freaking country, our own community.
we're close,
I'm sure
guys.
your town.
We're
I'm sure your
close to
town
things
has some
going
factories. I'm sure
right.
your
Yeah.
town has
Well,
some power
we're close to
plants.
things going irretrievably bad. If we are in fact right about what we're saying here, which is that this is like sort of a jumping of ship of capital.
There will be no maintenance done on the U.S. Apparently, we don't even maintain our aircraft carriers. Do you think they're doing maintenance on like the grid, etc.?
Right.
Infrastructure decline, I believe, is what is going to cause the empire to fall. I don't think it's going to be a big dramatic nuke. I don't think Israel's going to freaking do a crazy, like maybe over there. I don't know. Here,
they're our proxy. So like if they were causing us problems, like they would not be. You know, like, so that's the thing to know about Israel. Like, Israel exists at our behest. It's our dog on a leash. So, you know, and we unleash it when we want, you know, to form the greater, you know, Israel thing and have a situation where we want to, you know, like have control of that region, which we don't generally have that great of a stronghold in. That's been the whole idea, is allowing that to happen. Going
your
back
neighbors,
to
practice some general life skills. I'm not encouraging people to go like doomsday prep, but
well, you know, just
you
be
know
aware.
how to like be outside for more than 24 hours in a row and not die.
Yeah, it's sort of a just be aware situation.
Go take a hike, go practice, get on a bicycle, learn how to fix a bike. I don't know,
just
man.
like try to get, I mean, even though the food is poison, like try to get you know, as healthy as you can, try to get fit so that you can survive. You know,
teach yourself to like different foods. If you're not a big fan of tomatoes,
I don't even know if any of this is really helpful. It's just I think that you need to be like really aware that if what we're saying is true, or some version of it, then the end is here. You know, like we're happening. And generally, most empires die right around the 250-year mark. I don't know why that seems to be the magic number, but it does. So guess what year this is, bros? So
I don't think it's going to be some like America turns into a post-apocalypse and then just like sits there forever. I think it's going to be like there's going to be some kind of dip, and that kind of like if you look at any other historic revolution, Russia was really fucked up for a few years there, and then they started building. I say they had the opportunity to actually start building their own country, and they were on the very close to the moon, not literally on it, but like everything. They were in space within like what a few decades, and their starting point was like peasant mud huts. We have nuclear power plants and this massive infrastructure. It's all messed up right now, but like we aren't starting from zero. We have a much nicer starting point. I don't think that like, oh, it's over and we're just dooming out and we're all just gonna die. Just kill yourself now. But no, I think if anything, we're kind of lucky because, you know, assuming nothing bad happens to you individually, you get to see what happens next. You aren't just stuck in fucking permanent 2016, permanent 2008. Like you get to see a new thing happen.
Right. Yeah. That's what's going to, like, I mean, that's what we're saying. Like, we're always just trying to say, like, please be aware, things are changing. You are part of that. You know, if you're sitting here going around like vote Team Blue, whatever, you're really part of the problem at this point.
Stop giving your money to these people. That's really,
for God's sake, please try to save, you know, learn how to be very spendthrift, learn how to repair your own things, like learn or prepare yourself for things to get worse any way that you can. Like, I don't want to be like, don't eat the avocado toast, but I really am saying that like in a metaphorical sense, right? Like I'm saying like prepare shit. It can and will get worse before it gets better. And if you look around right now, it's hard to imagine things actually fit like literal worse than it is now, but it's very, very possible. So yeah, I think that's probably it. We're right about yeah, no, the rant I think of the week has about run its course.
Let me make sure I am here next week, so I'm not catching everybody off guard. I should be. Where was it? Oh yeah, because last year I was flying home. I had Houston, all this nonsense. Oh yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day next week.
Is that the day of the show?
Yeah, 17th.
Oh right, yeah, okay, cool.
I'll be here, normal show.
No, it's crazy, and like maybe this is just like my weird world experience, and like I think this white people especially have this in common, where we have like no history and no culture and like no traditions of any kind. I was so shocked when I found out that some people celebrate St. Patrick's Day like Christmas. Like they literally like put out like decorations and give gifts to their children and make like special foods. And I'm like, what is going on, dude? This is just another day like in my life. Like I've never one time thought of it being anything like in my entire life. I was so shocked when I found that out a few years ago, like via social media.
That's part of the fun of it. It's like we some of it is we do have history, etc. It's just like pushed back. Like we don't celebrate Labor Day on May 1st, which is the day that a bunch of Chicagoans were gunned down because they wanted to have a 40-hour work week. Right. That should be a big old like hooray, workers did all the stuff that we actually have to be happy about gets like smushed down and be like, oh, don't talk about that, because then you might like think about, because having a sense of history and like no we're fucking like, because like having some fucking sense of self-respect and like, no, I demand a certain condition of like that leads to workers getting uppity and getting together and making changes. So I know that St. Patrick's Day is not like an Irish, like Ireland Irish thing that they do, but like if that's the same thing with like Cinco de Mayo. It's like, well, we gotta pick some holidays, let's do it.
Right. I think it's just one of those American Halloween. Day drink type of a situation. I love how we do Halloween.
Like Halloween's great. All the people our age seems to really be into it. Like
people love it. Yeah.
You kind of make it your own thing. And
yeah, I guess. Like
we get to see what happens next. We get to see what holidays and traditions will we come up with.
Right. Yeah. Like the Liberation Day or some shit that you see in like sci-fi movies where we got the aliens out or whatever the fuck. So, yeah, that's the only thing that could happen next that would be like totally insane is like it's alien invasion. Like Independence Day happened while we were sitting here being like America's fucked, and then like Independence Day happens. So that would be another good uniter, though. I guess.
Unify all of us.
Yeah. All right, guys. You can check out our archive of past shows on YouTube and on Rumble. And you can always watch us live on Tuesdays on Twitch and YouTube as well. So if you got questions or comments, we are on social media and like on Twitter and Blue Sky, even though it's like we're completely throttled, so like we're completely invisible there, so you have to like probably put our thing in directly if you want to actually find what's going on. But if you got questions, comments, then hit us up. And so we appreciate having you around and listening to our rant. We'll be back next week for St. Patrick's Day. Maybe we'll have like St. Patrick's Christmas or something. I don't know, but thanks for joining us. Stay safe, stay like present-minded, and take care of yourself and each other, and we will see you again soon. So.
Celebrate St. Patrick's by driving the capitalists out of America.
Drive the capitalists out of, yeah, exactly. That sounds like a plan. All right, guys, take care.